And we're back, MFs. Welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox. As we established last episode with Parvis Nurmenigenov. That's not really his last name, but I can't say it. So that's what he's getting for today. This show is about fighting. Mainly about business, but it has evolved into a show about conversations around fighting because that shit ain't easy. And today we have a very special guest. He's actually a fighter and a hustler. I'm a hustler, baby. My throat's scratchy from getting sorry. That was a terrible attempt. Welcoming to the show. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it like your boy D-Rock. Rocco Giambrone.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited.
So it's my fantasy. I think I clipped the mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Something clicked weird. Give me just a second because I'm not hearing myself that well. Two seconds. A little bit. Try this one more time. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I can hear you now. I think I clipped the mic and it just took a little break. It was like, you know what? You're too loud. So it's my fantasy to be like a MMA announcer. Like that I've evolved into that. I'm never going to be a fighter. I'm too fucking old for that.
You want to be an announcer? Dude, that's
in the cage.
Not a bad
I'm going to be an announcer. I've been working on my call outs, on my name call outs. So yeah.
That one was perfect. That was pretty dead on right there. That
Pretty
was
good.
Just like Drew Park.
So Rocco here just had his pro debut. I'd been fighting as an amateur throughout the Northeast. And was it Northeast or just New York?
So I've been fighting in New York and New Jersey. My last 5 or 6 have been in New York, but in the Northeast. So I'll take it. I'll take it. They had me at number 1 in the East, so I make sure I put that on everywhere I could put it. I put it.
I saw that. So you're a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you're on the Hands of Gracie MMA team at headquarters, right in Midtown Manhattan.
That's right, New York City.
Yep. So Queens native, right? Astoria.
Right, born and raised in Astoria, Queens. Yep. And now making that travel every day into the city, that ain't too bad. It's still a trip. It's like, I don't know, a little less than an hour there, hour back. Obviously worth it, right? How are you going to not go to the best best training facility?
I love to travel for 45 to 60 minutes to get my face knocked in and then turn around and hop on the train and come back. It's amazing.
Dude, you should have seen me today. I had no business in there today. So I'm coming off a day bender, right? I'm just doing nothing but eating and drinking everything inside. I'm not even on things and putting them in my mouth. So I go in today because I was like, I want to see the boys. I want to see Jamie. I got washed, dude. It was bad, like, because they're still in the zone there. They haven't stopped training.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, last night I'm like 4 Eggo waffles deep, fish muffins at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, I had no business being in there today, dude. So I'm glad I got the first one out of the way.
Yeah, you got to rip that Band-Aid off somehow.
Yeah, dude, you got to.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel every day in there. So.
Nah, man. You're nice with it. You're not. I don't like getting you on the ground. When you're on the ground, you're dangerous, man. You got to stay away. I try to keep it as much kickboxing as I can with you.
Speaking of which, why don't you tell everybody about what happened during your first fight? Because people think, I love how everybody, they see these posts of like, there was just one about the fights last weekend. It was like Nate Diaz's earnings, and it was Khamzat's earnings, and it was, what's his face, Ferguson's earnings and everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what fighters make. Like, paint the picture, give them the real story.
That is not what fighters make. That's like, you got to understand, the creme de la creme, and someone who's, that's what they make, right? Like, I got paid 5 and 5 500 to win. Like, we're not, it's not enough money. Where the money came in for me, like, I really hit a home run with the sponsors for my debut. I got 20 of them on board, different packages you could sign on to. But I mean, that's where the money came in. And it didn't come from the fight. Percentage of the ticket sales that I got 25% of my ticket sales this time, which bumped me up for money. And the sponsors, other than that, I mean, what are you going to do with $1,000? $1,000 can't even buy it. I mean, like,
can't even buy $1,000 by the next day.
Can't even buy $1,000, So got twisted all around too at the end. It's supposed to be my MMA debut, and I find the middle of my weight cut. It's Wednesday. I'm in the middle of my weight cut. I'm about to hit pads with my brother. He's holding pads. We're really Italian. Like, he was about to start holding pads for me in his flip flops. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we're not pro. It was very makeshift, make do over here, but we were getting it done. I was out, and I get a phone call from my head coach saying, the guy pulled out. And I'm like, what? What do you mean he pulled out? A big gash on his head. He got hurt at work. And I immediately, can we curse on this, Jay? Is it cool to just talk?
Oh yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
All right, perfect. All right, cool. So I'm like, because there's no way he hurt his head today. There's no way he got a gash on his head today. Chickens. I got a DM from a stranger last Friday, an absolute stranger on Instagram, saying, "Hey Rocco, you're fighting Anthony Sanchez. I just wanted to give you a pointer. Cut on his head. He tried to dye his hair to cover it. I really don't want him to win. He put my sister and 1-year-old niece out last week. He doesn't deserve the shunest man, brother. Please kick his ass." So this is a message I get from a stranger last fight. I decided to ignore it. I'm like, all right, whatever. They're playing they're playing mind games from Texas. Let me just fuck ever, right? So when they called me on Wednesday to say that he just got hurt at work, I said, that's bull that he had a cut on his head from last week, from Friday. So who's playing games here? You guys are holding out, which I don't think Flex would, because I was their co-main event. And the card was for they hold out over a week to try to not get a replacement fight, to make it work. But I flipped out, dude. I was like, yo, this kid got hurt a week and a half ago. Like, let's stop flying these kids in from them weights in New York ready to fight. Let's fight somebody here where there's a little bit more accountability. Easy for people to just be like, oh, I'm not getting on the plane. You're fucking 2,000 miles away, 3,000. Easier to say no. There's no penalty. They don't know anybody over here, so it's not like no pride, I guess. But when I found that out, I was pissed off. But nonetheless, do about it. My opponent pulled out, and now they were trying to find an opponent, a replacement. It's insanely hard to find replacements on short notice because the medicals are so in depth. Right? The number one killer is getting the MRI. A lot of us fighters, right? We don't have insurance, right? Which is thousands of dollars. And if you're getting paid 5 and 5, no one fights to live. And even if you have insurance, like I have, you still got to get approved for an MRI. Like, it's still goodness. My cousin worked in a doctor's office and like put the right coding in for my insurance to like get. It's a nightmare, dude. So New York State is a pain in the ass with the medicals to get these fighters approved. Boxing is a different commission, is a different sanction. So it was easy to get a kickboxing match put together. They got somebody to accept the fight on 48 hours notice. He was actually somebody else. So he took the fight, and they came back. They offered me the fight. Much involved here. I got too much invested as far as, again, like with sponsors, and it's like people are expecting to see this. Now I know it's not MMA. That kind of sucks, but they're still willing to let this opportunity go to waste. Talk to Jamie. He was like, dude, there's really, I can't tell you yes or no. So call me back when you make your decision. And when I called him back and I said, yeah, I'll do it, he was like, yeah, man, that's the lot. Like, think about it. Number one, I bought myself 5 pounds at the weigh-ins. Like, that was my MMA, different opponent, different rule set. Give me 5 pounds. And I was like, no problem. So I bought my, which is always a struggle in the home stretch anyway.
Yeah.
I got to because everyone stayed on, the sponsor stayed on board, everyone kept their tickets, business as usual. The show went on. It's kind of like I'm doing Flex the favor, so they kind of could look out for me in the future, which they always do anyway, right? Dude, if I win, it looks great. If I lose, it doesn't even go towards pro. It was really almost like a throwaway. It was a no-brainer. It's just like, go in there and fucking have a fight, Rock. Go in there and have a stock goes up if you win. Nothing happens if you lose, and you get paid, dude. We kept it going. And then we went in there, man. We got the third round TKO, so we had a good night. Nothing too far out of the ordinary. Just a couple of clashes that the ref had to. I went for a knee to the head, which apparently is illegal as well. But I've been training that. I've been trying to finish with my elbows and my knees for the pro debut. But aside from a in there, it was pretty much business as usual, man. I felt good in there. We came up with the game plan, 20 minutes, like, let's just see what we're gonna do. We went out, we got it done.
Just trying to paint the picture for like business owners that maybe they have like a brick and mortar, like a restaurant or a shop or something like that, or even worse, like online businesses. They don't even have a fucking storefront. I hate to hear them complain, because I'm like, bitch, you don't even have running water. Like, do you want to know what I dealt with this week?
Where's your overhead?
Yeah. And like, this is your business. Like, the shit that you have to do to get ready, like cutting massive weight, going out, hustling your own sponsors, preparing to go into a fucking cage and like crack heads and shit like that. And at the last minute, they're switching all the rule sets and everything for what you've been preparing for fucking months, years. And now all of a sudden it's like a completely different thing. And you have to abide within, those guidelines. And to come out with the win, and it's your pro debut too, so it's fucking shit ton on the line. And here's some of these people like, they didn't do this, and I'm like, yo, man, shut up. Just like, stop complaining. Listen to fighters, watch fighters, ask them about what they have to go through, and then maybe you'll have an insight of what it takes to fucking succeed in life.
Oh, for sure, dude.
I forgot what I was going to say. It was going to be good, but that one's gone. I got punched in the head too much this week.
You were talking about the business and
I know what I was going to say. So there's a statistic that only 4% of small businesses make it to 10 years. And I like, how many people that start MMA, like go in and take an MMA class and like, I want to be a fighter, or Muay Thai, or boxing, whatever.
Right.
What do you think the percentages of them that actually make it go pro and last for like 10 years is? It's probably even less than 4%.
Gotta be. It's gotta be. I would 1% of people who get involved with it, maybe 4 or 5% that no, maybe a little bit more, actually get a fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to get an athlete, just to train enough to get your, whether it's, dude, I started off because I thought it was just gonna be a bucket. So addicted to it. So just from training and committing yourself to getting one in the single digit percentages, to stick with it, have an amateur career for 10 years, dude, 1%. 1%.
I think with right. I think it's in jiu-jitsu, it's less than 1% of people that start actually make it to black belt.
But it is, yeah. I would imagine so many.
I mean, maybe that's gone up a little bit lately, but like, I don't know. It's probably like, it was after I started training, so less than 7 years ago. I saw some video with Henner Gracie doing the breakdown of that, and like how many people that have started, versus how many people actually get to black belt, and it was like less than 1%, whatever, like 5 years ago. So maybe it's like 1% now. But just to get, again, to just like grab people and smack them in the face a little bit about all their whining and bitching, and or understanding why you're not succeeding. We're always in MMA working on like our mistakes. Like you guys get to watch it. You get to watch your actual fights, and Jamie's like, okay, this is where we fucked up. That whole class is going to work on this now. It's going to be a collective thing that we all own now. And I don't think business owners, unfortunately, you have that kind of support. But that it's like, oh, all right, we're being accountable. We're being super accountable here. But to hear those, statistics, it's just like, and these are people that are like fighting, fucking clawing. I'm talking bleeding. Like you said, you got to get a fucking MRI. And you don't have insurance, and you're a fighter. You're a freaking pro fighter, and like insurance is just ridiculous. Man, this generation's got to fucking step it up, you know?
Oh, dude, you already know what's also like. I feel like we're the last of the Mohicans for this 50 year. We're going to be a bunch of pussies, and it's going to be terrible again until like the next generation of men come tail end of the last strong men. Then it's just going to be like 50 year pussies, and then after that, they're going to be like, something's got to give. Yeah, real fucking man. You got to get a pair of balls and strap it on and just fucking and go to work. Everyone's just so entitled, and I blame it on the generation that started participation trophies. I really win just for showing up. We teach kids that at such a young age. It's the wrong to show up for yourself, but just showing up isn't enough, dude. If you think you're going to get all the accolades, the promotion, you're going to get this, that, and the other just for showing up, dude, they don't pay you enough. They don't pay you enough for what? What the fuck do? You have 8 hours a day. You're jerking off 2 hours of work, another hour of lunch. Like, where's your hustle? Where's your grind? Where's your want to get ahead for mediocrity? Like, mediocrity has become cool. It's not cool. Mediocrity is never culture. Society is just made you want to sit on your phone and see a fucking bum. Like, dude, no. Maybe, I don't know if it's a general Italian, so like my whole family is just like, you get off your ass and you work off the boat, and that was just it. Put a shovel in his hand and never look back and built. I mean, I'm sitting in a beautiful bed that he built. This is the center. This is the hub that he built, with his hands, and it's still going going. But I feel like there's just where is that? Where is that mentality? I'll just go to school. I'll just do this. I'll just get a job. This is what I'm supposed to do, right? Fucking years and wither away, and I'll have a 401k though. That'll be good one day. About a couple of kids. Right? Yeah, right. Maybe, dude. Maybe.
That's why I brought you on the show. That's exactly why I brought you on the show, for that little that little diatribe right there. I knew you were going to drop it like it was hot. It's true. And it's so funny because they have there's so many more protections in place, and like when fucking minimum wage shit is like super high, and just all this, talk of equity and everything. I'm sure something has to be done to kind of level the playing field, but I feel like the way it's being done right now, it's just.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be the people. I have a bunch of friends, and they always like, oh, it's the rich. Blame the rich. Like, there's always gonna be the haves and the have-nots. What are you gonna do about your life? What are you gonna fucking blame the rich years of your life being a bitch and just say, it's because I got dealt a shitty hand? Fuck you, and in with your hand. I'll bluff my way until I win that pot with your hand. And somebody else, it's always gonna be that way, dude. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. It's pathetic. It's why women aren't attracted to you anymore, because you're just oozing fucking pathetic, dude. Grab your fucking sack and go make something of yourself. Period. That's it. I feel like I have an edge, right? Because, and some people may see. So I live right next to the airport, so there's planes and shit.
Yeah.
I see this as an edge, but as like a disadvantage. Why? I certainly don't. I'm a little.
Looks like the plane got LaGuardia got Rocco's internet tied up. We'll give him a second here. He might have to duck out and come back on, but it is exactly why I brought him on the show, to give the fighter's perspective. Imagine what he was just talking about. And if you're a fighter, like you're in a cage and you have that mentality, you have that attitude. What is that going to get you? Where is that going to land you? It's certainly going to land you with a belt around your waist, or the medallion around your neck, or getting more fights or anything. It's going to end you in the hospital likely and working some dust job. Let's see. We can pull him back up here. He cut out for a second. I'm gonna give him a moment to pull the link back up. It seems like his service was a little spotty throughout, anyways, but hopefully we're getting enough of the audio because he's got some very profound things to say. And just, you know, guy's full of grit. He ain't no spring chicken. He's not 22. It's like some of the kids in the MMA program. Eli, be talking about you. You know, Rocco's a little bit older, but the kid's got massive amounts of drive. To get to pro at he's mid 30s, and just had his pro debut. That means a lot. That's a big deal, especially when you're fighting guys that are much younger than you, often more than 10 years younger than you. You know, when they say 10 years younger, you might as well. Here he comes. He's back again. I can't hear you, Rocco. I can see you, but I can't hear you. And mess with that audio a little bit. Still can't hear you. Let me see. Oh, he's gonna duck out one more time. Let's see what happens if I do this. Talk to me, brother.
How's that? Is that better?
A little bit. Your audio is mad wacky. Give me just a moment. Let me see if I can affect that on my end. I changed something. All right, talk to me again.
Yeah, a little bit better there now.
Nah, now you sound like you're it's Vietnam and you're in the you in the napalm and Creedence Clearwater Revival was playing on the radio.
It's always CCR. It's always CCR.
Talk to me, Charlie. It's all right. Let's keep going. We'll give it like another 7 minutes like this, but it might start driving people crazy. the audio.
No, yeah. I don't want to do that. My phone overheated. I was in the sun over there. I didn't realize that. The fucking temperature thing.
You know, I noticed it was when you started talking about getting ladies. That's when everything started.
Oh, is that what I started talking about getting ladies? My fucking phone overheated. I'm too hot, man.
All the women's that were watching, it was too much. It took over.
No, but what I was saying is as far as a fighter and the business aspect of it, right? Like, what I feel my advantage is that I worked a job that sucked for 8 years. You know, I dispatched trucks for a construction company, and I was just miserable. So I lived that life. Like, I'm not preaching here like I'm some fucking some Buddhist monk that knows it all. I just know my experience, and I know that job sucked, and I know what it's like to wake up, do something you don't want to do 6 days a week, right? 10 hours a day for whatever, a paycheck, right? So I know what that's like. So it's to my advantage that I will not go back to the regular job. I will not go back to that. So I will use fighting, right? I'm not the best fighter in the world, but I'll certainly use this platform to kind of propel myself in the direction I want my life to go. You know, so it's like that old school mentality, like I was talking about, of getting up, getting to work, breaking your ass, doing what you got to do. But with that new school concept of actually being happy with your life. You know, like there's a bet you can have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? You can't. Why the fuck else would you have a cake if you weren't going to eat it? So, you know, so it's like I'm finding that balance, and with the business side of fighting, I am the product. So I'm going door to door to these sponsors, and there's a pressure put on me now to perform because I'm the fucking product that you're investing in. You know what I mean? Like, I got a couple of bars that sponsored me, and I went to go show face. You know, sign the contract in person, shake their hand in person. I always like doing things like that. And, you know, like, hey, you having a drink? I was like, yeah, I'll take a water. You got to protect your investment, remember? You know what I mean? Like, so you're the product, and when you think of yourself as the commodity, you start to act a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like, you start to really do what you're supposed to be doing. In the amateur level, you can sneak a couple of Oreos in at night because, you know, you're handing a fat sack of fucking cash to the promoter, and they'll kind of look the other way when you step on the scale. But when you got the state commission involved, and you got people investing their money in you, not just their hard-earned money to buy a ticket, but their business money, you know, you better come correct. You better bring the best version of yourself possible. No bullshit.
like Rogan's interview with Kamzat at the end of his fight, and he was like, yo, like, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like, you didn't make weight and you don't seem to give a shit. Like, where is this gonna go? You know, like it's your responsibility. It's something you have to do. It's like turning the fucking key for the door. You have to open it to let people inside so you can make that money. It's the same thing for you guys. And it's a really big deal. It's just crazy to me, like all the stuff you guys have to do to prepare for what, 15 to 25 minutes of your life.
Yeah. It's like eight weeks for 15 minutes max, unless it's the championship fight. So 8 weeks for 15 minutes. It's almost like my sex life. You know, you have all this preparation.
You can last 15 minutes?
No, I'm saying the ratio, Jay. So much anticipation and build up for that, you know.
I'm good for like a minute and a half.
Dude, thank God I have a nice personality, because I really ride the fucking personality.
You know, you could hear at the beginning of the show when I called your name out, I can roll my R's. That's
my very nice.
I got Rocco wet for a second. Well, it's funny. I was like, we'll wrap up with this because it's gonna be kind of dirty, and I feel like we're gonna lose viewers anyways. I was talking to somebody about you and about this show, and kind of like what the foundation of it was going to be. And I was comparing it to porn stars, and I was like, what's the highest paid, porn star? Like the hot little blondes that take like the huge black dicks in the ass, and like, how much do they get paid? And I was like,
hazard pay.
I was like, so, in fighting, you got to get your face smashed in first before they give you the money. Is it the same with porn, or do the hot little white girls just get the money because they'll come in? Or I don't know. I'm curious. They just got to like how many big
48-hour replacement?
How many?
It's like, what's the rule set?
And she's like, how big is it?
Yeah, how big is it? What, are we doing anal? Oh, geez. Wow.
Right. Like how many baby's arms do you have to take to get to the top?
Fuck, that's interesting. Well, I know this right now. I'm still at the fluffer stage. I'm still not even in the film. I'm just a guy fluffing on the side.
We're just, like PK would say, just the tip. We're just playing with the tip right now. She does that shit to me, man. She gets on my back and like gets me down. She'll do that like Dagestani handcuff, and she'll just whisper in my ear, "Don't worry, baby. I'm just gonna put the tip in." And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
PK, you're fucking with the wrong one. Right now, I'll tell you this: you got me at 3 a.m. PK.
Might happen.
You're gonna see which
you might get your cake and eat it too. I think that was probably the best quote. Like, why would the fuck would you have cake if you didn't?
You weren't gonna eat it. That's crazy.
Like, it just doesn't fucking make sense. So you're right, man. A lot of things got to get panned out, but it really comes down to simplicity, and that's what I love about, especially Jamie and Rob's MMA instruction. It's like they simplify. Jamie's always talking about heuristics, and I had to Google what the fuck that meant because I'm stupid. And I was like, oh, okay, now I understand.
Google it because I couldn't spell it.
I was just like, I couldn't spell it either. I was like, Siri, how do you spell heuristics? But just fucking simplifying things down to like the most important common denominators for success, and like analyzing your performance, analyzing what's coming in and what's going out. Let's see what's working and go with that. And fucking, if it's not, push that shit aside. It doesn't mean it's valueless, but focus on, on the things that are really proving results. And I think it's a fucking huge example for people in business, because the thing is, now everybody wants to be a fucking entrepreneur. Everybody wants to work for themselves. I mean, it was starting like before, going back like, 7-10 years ago. But then, with COVID, everybody was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go like, well, y'all motherfuckers, y'all don't know shit.
For money, pal. The fuck you do for me? You're an entrepreneur, great. How do you pay your bills? Because you're full of shit.
Show me the money. You haven't been tested, right? I mean, fighters, they have to get clocked to know that they can stay in there with the. That MMA class has done it for me. That's enough. I got punched in the face so many times. I'm like, oh, I'm still standing. All right, I can do this.
That's it. After a while, it's just, hey, if I'm still awake, go. You know what I mean? If I'm not put out, if I'm not completely knocked out or dropped, just keep going. Just go.
The funny part is like, I'm a restaurant and involved in some other businesses, and life ain't easy, but after being in that class, like I come out and I'm like, you can't hurt me. What you do to me will be as bad as that. And that's why I fucking show up so much, because it's just like that daily check-in, like, okay, it's not that bad. That new little Asian guy, he's just a fucking menace, man.
Dude, he's Russian.
And whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's Asian, right?
Fucking Mongolian, whatever he is.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Like motherfucking
straight
Genghis
up.
Khan's like
Straight up
15th
Genghis.
great grandson, some shit.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. And Jamie keeps pairing me with him because he's like, we're like the same size.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, this is worse than Eli. Like,
dude, he's good. He's good. I love going with him because he's just such a high level talent, you know. And if I'm like, dude, if I'm hanging with dudes like him in the training room,
Yeah.
I'm hanging with Frankie Wells, I'm hanging with Eric, I'm hanging with Eli. Like, if I'm hanging with these guys, my competition at this level, especially at the beginner pro level, because you know there's still levels to, you know, professional. Of course, it never stops. The levels never stop. But if I'm hanging with these guys, it just does nothing but boost my confidence for anyone else I step in there with, man. I feel fucking great, you know?
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you so
dude.
much for coming on. Again, everybody, check him out. Rocco Giambrone. He's on Instagram. Rocco, what's your handle?
Rocco G MMA.
That's it. Rocco G MMA. He's fighting with Flex Fight right now. His next fight hopefully coming up is going to be a pro MMA fight in Queens, New York.
I'm hoping. I'm praying for December in Astoria, brother.
Cool. All right, brother. Thank you. I'll see you soon, I'm sure, at the end of your fist somewhere.
Sounds good. Sounds
In
good.
a class soon. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later, Jay.